Well, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, and, well, sometimes it rains. Game 5 between the Guardians and Yankees in the ALDS. We'll have to wait another day. The game postponed until Tuesday at 4:07 p.m. Eastern due to rain in the New York area. On Monday night, the winner of that game will move on to face the Astros in the ALCS, with Game 1 of that series set for Wednesday night in Houston. Welcome into the HQ studios, and for more, we welcome in former MLB Executive of the Year Jim Bowden and CBS Sports MLB analyst Matt Snyder. Jim, I'll start with you. A game that took quite a while for the league to postpone, but how does this affect both of these teams, and maybe who does it help the most?
Yeah, I definitely think it helps the New York Yankees for sure. Jameson Taillon, I believe, will probably still start this game. But now they're going to have Nestor Cortes, instead of pitching out of the bullpen on 2 days rest, he's going to be available on 3 days rest. And look, Aaron Boone might decide to even start him. But I think he'll start with Taillon. But Cortes now, with 3 days rest, can give you some length if needed. I think that's extremely important for them. And especially now when you look at the 8th and 9th innings. You know, Clay Holmes, they didn't want to pitch back-to-back games. Now he gets the day off today. That's going to mean that he's ready to go in the 8th or 9th inning. And the same thing for Wandy Peralta, who definitely needed a day off as well. So I think the extra day for Cortes and the day off that now Holmes and Peralta are getting is going to really help the Yankees' chances from a pitching perspective. On the other side for Cleveland, the question is, do they now go and start Bieber instead of Savali, or does he stick with Savali? That's something that Terry Francona has to ask. His bullpen was in really good shape, so he didn't really need this extra day. So I think, I'm not sure where Matt is on this, but in my opinion, I think the Yankees are the ones that benefit from this rainout tonight.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. The only thing I would say is if they go from Aaron Savali to Shane Bieber, that's a big step up to being able to use Shane Bieber even on short rest. But yeah, like the Guardians were already in really, really good shape because Emmanuel Clase, the best reliever left in the playoffs, went 2 1/3 innings in Game 2. He hadn't pitched since then, so he was already going to be incredibly fresh, and he already showed he could go more than 2 innings if they needed it. Also, his 3 primary setup men did not throw in Game 4. Only Sam Hentges threw in Game 3. So with James Karinchak and Trevor Stephan, they still were in really, really good shape already going into this game. Now, all those guys get an extra day of rest, so they're even more fresh. But, yeah, they didn't need it. So I think the Guardians were already very well set up. Like I said, the only thing is if they go with Bieber on short rest, I like him a lot more than Savali. If they stick with Savali, I don't know what they're doing. Maybe he would only go in a really short outing. Maybe he would be more of an opener, and then they would go to Bieber before those bullpen arms. But with those 4 bullpen arms fully rested, they could really, really shorten the game. It absolutely helps the Yankees a lot more than the Guardians.
And one more time, the breaking news is that the Game 5 between the Guardians and the Yankees has been postponed until Tuesday at 4:07 p.m. Eastern in the Bronx. Everything's fluid right now. We're actually starting to see some reports coming in that Nestor Cortes is likely to get the start for the Yankees in this deciding Game 5. If that's the case, Jim, what's the difference between Cortes and Taillon for the Yankees' chances as a starter?
I mean, I like their chances better with Cortes even on short rest. Look, he's arguably been their best pitcher over the last 2 months. I mean, that's the guy that Boone likes to go to. Garrett Cole delivered the 2 games he needed to in this particular series, and this would give Cortes a chance. So I do like if I were the Yankees, I would prefer to go Cortes, or if not, I would start Taillon for a couple of innings and then bring in Cortes. But remember, Taillon pitched in Game 2 of this series in relief, and he didn't get anybody out. He gave up 3 hits, gave up a run, including a double. A couple of them were bloop hits, and there was an error behind him. But I'm sure the Yankees feel a lot more comfortable with Cortes on 3 days rest.
Yeah, I agree. I think you got to go with Nestor. And another wrinkle here, I wonder if it puts Garrett Cole in play for an inning, not any kind of extended outing. But there were reports that he threw 110 pitches yesterday, but there were reports he showed up at the ballpark today and told Aaron Boone he was good to go. And Boone said, no, not using him. Well, he's had a day rest now. Maybe they would throw Boone for an inning as long as he could be efficient. Cole, I think that his arm is probably one of those rubber arms. He hasn't really had arm issues, and he throws over 200 innings a year. He probably has one of those arms where he could go. I'm sure they would love to stay away from him, especially especially if they have a 3 or 4 run lead at some point, because then they're going to have to play games 1 and 2 in Houston immediately thereafter. They've got a whole series to go. Hopefully, if you're in the Yankees dugout, that is. But it just wanted to throw that out there, a little wrinkle that maybe we could see Cole now.
Hey, Matt, because of this, go ahead, Jim.
No, I just want to say I don't think there's any chance you'll see Cole with $324 million and the length of the career. The Yankees aren't going to go anywhere this postseason if they don't have Cole. I just can't see them doing it without having enough proper rest here and risk an injury with their $324 million guy. I know if I was Brian Cashman, I would not make him available for my manager to even have that option.
We see right here the Guardians 1-7 all time in winner-take-all playoff games. In fact, the last time they won, and the only time they won one of those, it was in the '97 ALDS against the Yankees. Now we have this situation here where we're going to have a 4:07 p.m. Eastern start of a deciding Game 5. It's also getaway day, where the winner of this game is going to have to then go on to Houston to play Game 1 of the American League Championship Series the very next day. I gotta think, Matt, that the Astros are licking their chops right about now.
Oh, absolutely. They probably were anyway after getting the sweep, and they're the much better team. They're far superior to both of these teams left. But yeah, this is even more ridiculous now to have these teams probably empty out their bullpens, maybe starting 2 of their best pitchers on short rest in the game. But either team, whoever gets out of this, is going to be in bad shape for Game 1. Now, the Guardians have a much deeper pitching staff, so they'll be able to piece it together a little better than the Yankees in Game 1, but they don't really have that imposing of an offense, and the Astros are going to have a full arsenal behind Justin Verlander there in Game 1. So yeah, the Astros will be heavy favorites in the series anyway. They'll be heavy favorites in Game 1, even more so after what we're going to see tomorrow.
And I think Major League Baseball probably is going to look at this postseason and see if any adjustments need to be made in future years, because you really don't like a situation where the teams are going to have to fly and play Game 1 of the next series the next day. It's been difficult. The off days aren't set up properly. There's already a lot of National League teams that are complaining because we have 3 100-win teams and a 93-win team that has gone home. And for the first time in baseball history, 2 teams that didn't even win 90 games are in the NLCS. And a lot of people are looking to that 5 or 6 off days that those division winners had to endure before they played the first round. Now you've got these 2 postponements with Cleveland and the Yankees that are causing problems with the schedule. So I think Major League Baseball will have to look at this postseason and maybe find a better way to design the playoff schedule for next year.
Well, regardless, we are going to have ourselves a do-or-die game for the Guardians and the Yankees. It was supposed to take place on Monday night. Now it's going to happen Tuesday afternoon. Last thing, guys, Matt, I'm starting with you. Who do you like in Game 5 between Cleveland and New York?
I think I'm going to lean toward the Guardians. Their pitching is still in better shape, even though the day off helps the Yankees a little bit more. And I do think that they're probably going to bump Bieber up and start him on short rest. And between Bieber and that bullpen, I think they'll mostly keep the Yankees offense in check. And, in terms of the Guardians offense, it's not imposing at all, but they've been nickel and diming the Yankees to death in this series. And I'm going to just guess that happens for one more game.
I'm going to go the other way that Matt is. I'm going to take the Yankees to win this game. I think they have to do it early in the game. I think Aaron Judge and Stanton and Rizzo, Donaldson, the big bats, have to hit the ball out of the ballpark early and often and get a big lead, because if it becomes a bullpen and defense game late, the Guardians will win this game and move on to play Houston. But I think the Yankees overall have a better team because of their offense and because of their team power. But the team power is going to have to show up early in this game. And if it does, then I do think the Yankees will be the ones playing Houston in Game 1 on Wednesday.
Game 5 of the ALDS moves from Monday night in the Bronx to Tuesday afternoon between the Guardians and the Yankees. Jim Bowden and Matt Snyder, thank you guys so much for your input. And here's a look at the latest odds to win the World Series. And right now, the Houston Astros awaiting the winner of the Yankees and the Guardians have the best odds amongst all the teams left in the Major League Baseball postseason.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.